Time to code, time to code, time to code. Hi, I'm Eric, making a game. It's called The God Killer. It's going to be a really good game. It's kind of a top-down puzzle thing. I'll show it to you in a moment. And this is a live coding session. I'm going to see if I can finish a game element this evening. I'm pretty friggin' close. I'll show you it in a second. It's a pushable block. If you are catching this on the replay, from YouTube or someplace where I have it archived, Twitch, and you would like to join in on a live session where I'm actually around to respond to your chats, you can catch me Monday through Thursday right around 6 p.m. PST, live coding, and on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also have some game development stuff that is not coding, but more like demoing the game or doing some level design, more visual stuff. So if you're not into coding but like games and game development, then you might enjoy that. And I am always at your service as long as you're polite. As far as chatting goes, I'm a pretty friendly guy. So yes, do say hi. Do ask me your programming question. I won't do your homework for school. You need to learn how to write code on your own eventually. But if you got some question about coding or anything, I'm pretty open to chat. So okay, let's see where we're at. Alright, so this is the game. Early days, The God Killer. It's running in the Unity player right now. There are these things, these squares here. These brown squares, see where my mouse cursor is. Those are pushable blocks. I can push them. They will fly off in one direction until they hit a wall. They won't just go one square when I push them. They will go flying. And this is a 3D game with pushable blocks and lots of other things too. But one of the game elements is these pushable blocks. So yesterday I had just figured out how to do this thing where I can push against the bottommost block, and it will cause, in a stack of blocks like you see here, and it will cause the stack to, hey Norman, good to see you, man. I made progress on my blocks, man. It will cause crazy things to happen. I was speaking so confidently about my blocks and what they would do, and I just plunged my main character into infinity. But that's okay. And Norman was with me at the start of the block, so I'm going to start over and just make sure he sees all the cool progress that I made. Because I have to brag to somebody that understands. So that's all this business here. And they just kind of get pushed around. And then I can push multiple blocks at one time. And it's kind of hard to do it now, but I can also land on top of the blocks and walk on them. They get destroyed intentionally when I push against them. That's part of the design, but if the animation was there, then they would kind of explode. So the last thing I was doing in last night's session was putting in my test cases for some different situations that I had hoped I could get working inside of unit tests. So I got these unit tests, and they kind of set up a quick version of the game world without having to play everything through the Unity player. So there's tests to push a block south, and like if there's some code here, it adds a little block underneath, and then you push south, and then the assertions check to see what's going on with that and make sure everything is as expected. And so put in all these cases, and then I had some notes of some other ones that I wanted to make sure were there, so I'm going to do those ones too. of, we'll say, 3 blocks. Okay. Alright, so this is the topmost block in the stack. Just add them all to the board. Height should be 4 now, since there's 3 stacked there. Alright, so all this should be true, just the stack is not as high, or it is higher, it's 1 higher. Okay, I think I'll check for piece B there, and I'll check for the topmost one to have gone down by 1 square. Okay. And I'll just check on top to make sure nothing is at square where it should have moved from. Alright, I give this about a 41% chance of passing the first time I try it. So let's build. Head off to the test runner. Super slow test runner. There we go. Okay, 41% chance. Okay, didn't work. What failed? Oh, okay. So it wasn't my test. My test assertion didn't fail. It was an assertion down inside of some other code. Let's see. Piece 110. That's what failed. Okay, so I tried to move one piece into a square that wasn't empty. Let me check the call stack again, see where it was at when it tried to move that piece. In mpiece util. Okay, so it was in my code responsible for moving a set of blocks downward to fall. Okay, so let's go back to there. mpiece util. Yeah, it's going to be around here. Okay, it's already debugging. So let's run this baby again. Cool. Alright, just to save time, I think the first one of these drops will not cause the assertion, so I'll step through it. Okay, I was right. So the second one that tries to drop, I think that one will cause the assertion. So, let's see. This should be the piece that is at 1, 1, 3. So I'll check drop H is at 3. Good. Okay, what do I expect land height to be? So if I'm checking from 113, I think it will, first it'll find the stackable at 4. So I think land height will be 4. Yep. Okay, it's not going to fall to the infinite part. It is stackable. So then it's going to check for the ceiling underneath of the block. So it should be kind of, if everything was set up correctly, at this moment in time in the game world, there'd be one block just kind of floating in midair like a Warner Brothers cartoon character with nothing underneath of it. So I'm going to check and see if there's nothing underneath of it. If it's correct, it will go into the execution block below. Good. Okay, then I check where is the actual floor underneath that block. Now I should go down. I think this is the problem right here. Okay. So it'll go down. It'll check from 3. Oh, it'll check from 2? No, H was at 3. That is right. Okay. Okay, so it'll check from 2. And it'll probably find a floor at 2. Okay, so I think it'll find a floor at 2 or 1. No, 2. I think it'll find a floor at 2. And that would be the correct result. 0. Well, that's completely wrong. That's wrong. Alright, I need to be able to take some notes without messing this up. Let's just stop. I found out if I save a file while the debugger's running, it has like a 1 in 3 chance of crashing everything. Let's see. Okay, so the situation, it started out like this. Is equal. So 3 blocks on top of each other from a side view. And the player was here. And the first time through, the player destroyed the bottom block. Then I went up from 1, 2, 3. That's the height. Then I went up to 2, and it should have erased this and put it at 1. Then when I came to here, I said, is there a ceiling underneath? It said yes. It said there is a ceiling underneath, meaning there's a space underneath. Then I said, well, where is the floor? If I start looking just underneath at 2, and I thought that the floor should have been 2, but it said 0. And is 0, I can't remember, I think 0 might be my constant for infinite depth. Let me double check that. Okay, heights, infinite depth. Yep, okay, so that's the infinite depth. So it said 0. So that means that the state that I had here might be wrong. The state of the heights array might be wrong, because it should have given me ceiling equals 1. Okay. So let's leave that little block there to take notes in, and I'll run this again. I think that's probably a good break point. Okay, rush ahead. Okay, so this should be the first piece. This should be this piece here, which should be at 1, 1, 2. So let's check that. Do I have that same piece? Yes. 1, 1. Okay, cool. It is falling. Is falling is true. Yep. It's okay. This is the short drop here. All right. So, worth checking to see if it's squashing anything. I don't think it is. Okay. Alright, move to, this is the thing that would update my height structure. So I should go into here. Oh, it looks like, okay, I'm stepping through code that isn't matching up to the debugger. So that means I want to just run through, just run all the way through, and then just try it again. I think now it'll be synced up. Okay, so again, this should be number 2. Yes, okay, fine. What? Land height 0? So weird. Well, this is consistent with that one error that I just saw right when I was starting out, where I just stepped through a hole in the floor and fell down to infinity. So I'm rather grateful that the first test case I wrote also reproduced that error that I had inside of the player. So that much is cool. All right. So I think before they start falling, I need to check out the heights before anything falls. So for that, I can go to mpiece util. I can check out set the breakpoint there. All right. Alright, so what I want to know is, what do the heights look like in that one square? They should be set so that there is one floor at the top of all those blocks. Okay, so let's look at that. Board, heights, squares. Okay, it's at 1, 1. All right. So the way this array works is the odd numbered entries are floors, and the even, reverse that, the even numbered entries are floors, and the odd numbered are ceilings. So there's one floor at 1, there's a ceiling at 2, there's another floor at height 4, and then this large number represents the sky, more or less, the ultimate ceiling of all ceilings. I'm not liking how this looks because I had expected there to be one floor, 4, that would just be the top of the all the blocks. So I need to look at how the floor structure got populated when I added the blocks to the board. So let's just skip through blocks test. Okay, so here I will be adding to this board. Let's set the breakpoint here, run through again. Okay, so just checking out the initial board. I'm expecting it to be 130,000. All right, just what I expected. So then I'll add a piece to the board. I'll add it at, let's see, this is the first one, so this is the lowest one. So that should set it to the first floor to be 2. Suppose I could do this down here, then I won't have to keep on looking it up each time from the pop-up. Okay, so far so good. Okay, then it gets set to 3, and this last one should set it to 4. It does, so everything's good so far. Okay, so the other thing that changes it is, oh, you know what, maybe, okay, that's right, okay. So I was complaining about the height structure being wrong, but I think that's incorrect, because there is a brief moment right after I destroy the bottommost block when it's not all one contiguous space, and there is like a little hole there where the bottommost block used to be, and that's what I was seeing. So that should be fine. Yeah, let's skip ahead a little bit. Push, and then it'll go to push and push flat. I think I'll go all the way to here. And whenever I set a breakpoint while I'm already in the debugger, it doesn't work. And that means I just start again, and it probably will work. Okay, so at this point, I expect a contiguous set of heights, but I'm wrong. I'm already wrong, because it has taken that away. Oh, because I added the whole square right here. Okay, I forgot. This is here, so this added the whole. Added it at 1, 1, 1. Height equals 1, and the base, and that's the base height, and the top height will be height plus 1, 2. So that's actually right. That's fine. So 1, 2, 4. That's fine. I killed that bottom block. Now I drop the pieces into place. So expect top H to go to 3. Top H is 3. Okay, cool. Okay, so then this is the first block dropping. I need to figure out if it messes things up when the first block drops. Alright, so I'm back here again, basically in this state. And if I look at the board, at my heights, 1, 1, got that 1, 2, 4, okay, just as expected. So let's see, what do I expect to happen? The land height from there should be 4. What? Okay, I did see it. What was H? Oh, that's right, okay, because I'm not doing the top, I'm doing this guy here. So I'm at 2, getting the land height of 1, is that what it said? Yep, okay. Is this right? So it will be true that it's stackable. It's like I already have the right land height. There were some other cases where I was trying to correct for the land height being wrong, and that's what this is doing. But in this case, I have the right land height. So when I come out of here, the land height is going to get set to that infinite value. So this will be H minus, well, okay. So the ceiling here, I don't think it'll be less than land height. I think it's exactly the same. Is that true? Let me see. So I've got 1, 2, 4. I'll be checking at 1. That's a floor, that's the ceiling. Okay, so I think that'll be 2. I think the ceiling will be 2. land height. Okay, so it'll go down to here. Yeah, and this is the problem right here. So I'll be subtracting 1 from the land height, and that'll put it to 0. And that means I will be moving this bottommost piece down to the level that I reserved for infinite depth. So basically I'm sending that block into infinity. I'm not letting it catch anything because I've got a one-off error here. But I can't just take away this one-off because it's correcting another case. So I need to think through this logic so it always has the right land height in a variety of different situations. So let me record the numbers here just so that after I stop the debugger, I'll still have them all. It's dangerous for me to change code while the debugger's running because the IDE is a piece of crap. Sorry, Microsoft. You did not do good work on this IDE. Okay, and then that's fine. I'm right here at this state, so I can just remember that. And the land height that was returned was 1. It was 1, and then I decreased it. Land height equals 1. Okay, so play and then stop the debugger. So now I'm just thinking through my options. What are the cases that I had to protect against? So the first case I had was if there's a block here, the landing height for that block. It's already there. Maybe what I should be doing is more like checking for a ceiling underneath the block. If there is a ceiling, then it will drop. Otherwise, it would just stay there without dropping. That seems more robust, more general. Okay. What about this stuff up here? So I know I could probably put that code down here. It's a large enough, risky enough change that I'm going to do a git commit before I start working on it. So git status, git commit a before reworking land object stackable. Little checkpoint there I can come back to if I screw it all up. Okay, so my thought is let's get the real landing height for stackable. So let's say get get height to which this piece would fall or land on. If is stackable. Okay, else. Let's see. Cool. So then I want to check for a ceiling underneath of it. So what am I actually looking for? I'm looking for a ceiling that's less than this height. That would mean there's some place to fall. Or, you know what, I can just exit out early. Equals H. Now I'll say greater than equal H. Then just return. There's nothing. Oh, now I've got one more thing I have to check at the end. Okay, I'll keep it how I was going to do it. Okay, that means no falling. Okay, and then here I want to get the floor, the first floor that's underneath this block. I could do a ternary, but just while I'm debugging, I like having these extra lines to step into and set breakpoints on, and kind of makes it a little more of a pain with ternaries. Okay, this is still going to remain true. This I can get rid of. The height should be corrected. Okay. Waiting for the Unity builder to update its, there it is, there. So if I run it too quick, it doesn't pick up the new code. Okay. $264, huh? Okay. 264. So expected for block piece B to be down in that square, but instead the player piece was there. So the player moved into this square. And I'd written some code to prevent that. Did I just remove that code? Think about that. Okay, there's the touching piece done. Okay, so board, get M, CRH is not equal null. It's done. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to step through it. Okay, which piece is this first? It's a block piece. Should be the one at 2. Good. It is stackable. Okay. So then I'm going to look for the first ceiling. Yeah, going up from 1. That'll end up being 2, right? If I look for the ceiling from 1, it should be 2. But H is 2. So maybe I have a off by 1 error here. So I think this will return 2. And 2 is not less than 2, so it's going to go down to here. But since I'm already setting this case where the land height is going to be the same as the original height of the piece, I'm just going to see how it gets handled beneath. Okay, so is falling. Is falling will be false. Okay, it should skip past that. It should be the same. Yep. Okay. That's acceptable. This will mess up. No, just let it run through. And there. That's fine. Okay. So this has an off by 1 error. I think if I just do less than equal, I'm good. Okay. Build all. There it is. Okay. So yes, stackable. Yes, there's a ceiling underneath. Expect land height to end up being 1. It should get 1. It should pick up 1. Is it 1? Yes, it is. Okay. Good so far. Good so far. Yes, it is falling. Yep. Yes, it was a small amount down. Okay, all good so far. Let's see what it does to the heights array. I think what I want it to do. What do I want it to do? I want this floor to raise up to 2, and the next one, the ceiling, to be 3. I think that might be what I want. Okay, so what did I get? So I have the floor at 2, Ceiling at 3, good. The next floor, which is the top of the stack, is 4. Okay, good. All good so far. Okay. Now I'm at the top block, and let's see how I'm faring. It is stackable again. It should have a ceiling underneath. Expect the next floor to be at 2. Yep. Not falling to infinity, but it is falling. Small fall. Height is different. Squash a piece. Okay, what do I expect the height's array to change to? What is the original height? 3. Okay. So I expect this guy to get simplified, so that there's just a floor at 3 and then the sky at 30,000. So let's see what happens. Yes! Oh man, that's awesome. Okay. So now I'm deep down. Here, let's just hit play. Okay, I think the test passed. I was right. So the question is, did I break any of my other tests with those bold changes that I made? Those radical extreme changes I made. So let's see. Oh, awesome. Okay. So then let's play test. All right. Drop down to 2, drop down to 1, and gone. Perfect. Nice. This means I get to clean up a little bit of junk, move on to the next test case, which I think will do just fine. Okay. Alright, so let's how to succinctly express that idea above. Pushing one block against the wall, it drops, and then on the next step, pushing one more block against the wall, it should fall on top of the first. So I just saw that it happen successfully in playtesting, but I also know that I screwed it up once with just a tiny little code change, so I'm happy to push one block on top of another to add a test to keep myself from regressing. I'm happy to do that. The goal is to write this code and then forget about it, not come back to it. Alright. So this is okay. It's a little bit hard to write this. Okay. Alright, so make a little platform here, a little crevice here. The periods are like the lowest elevation. These O's are kind of a slightly higher mid-level elevation, and the pound signs are a really high wall, very high elevation. So I'll set up 2 blocks here and here, and I'll push them. So let's put this at 0, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 2. Okay. Add those 2 blocks to the board. Instead of having the player push them, I will, in invisible hand, I'll say block piece B, push 1, 0, 0. Yeah, that should be fine. Then I'll say block piece A. I'll push that one east as well. And I'll just check and see if I've got them stacked on top of each other. So block piece A, I expect it to be at 2, 1, 1. Block piece B, I expect to be on top of it at 2, 1, 2. And I'll get the highest floor at that point at 2, 1, and I expect it to be, let's see, 1. Okay, I expect it to be 3, with 2 of them stacked on top of each other. Okay. 57% chance this passes first time. And if it doesn't pass, it's more likely to be a bug in my test than in the code. Alright, what did I do wrong? Two 84. Block piece A. Oh, I pushed B first, that's all. B was pushed before A. So. There we go. And run. There we go. Cool. Now, thing that I was just dreading a tiny bit, but the last part of this, all this block stuff, stairs. So stairs they're a little tricky. I like them. I like stairs a lot. In my game, I guess. In real life, stairs are just okay, but in my game, I really like stairs. So stairs are like stairs 4, stairs 8. There it is. Okay, there's stairs. Okay. Then I can go put a block on the stairs. And I'd kind of decided I didn't want you to be able to push blocks upstairs. It just seemed too weird. So they'd be flying up and down at diagonal angles, and it just seemed too weird. I know visually it looks wrong too, to have a block just laying on top of steps like that. I kind of feel like I can make like a special version of the block. Yeah, like I could make perhaps like a special version of the block that is doesn't look quite as silly, right? We go 45. Not like that. No, wrong way. Other way. So, something like that. And then at least it wouldn't look stupid. But then there's the question of like, what do I actually want it to do when it's on the steps? So I was thinking that if the block is here, it's pretty easy. I could just say you can't push it up the steps. It's just stuck. And when you run against it, it'll be destroyed. Yeah, you're right. So, you know what? Like maybe that's the way I should do it. If the thing is, I can start out with a block here and make sure that I can't push it on the steps, and I can start out with a block up above it someplace and kind of make sure it doesn't end up on the steps. But there'll be some case where it ends up on the steps, and unless I really contrive the levels, and then the question is, what do I want it to actually do when that happens? And what you just said kind of makes sense. That it would slide or roll down, and the weird rules of the universe are that there's no animation where it's going to go tumble, tumble, bumble, bumble, bumble. If anything happens, it just happens all in one turn. So that means, like in one turn, or step as I call them, it'll just be down here. And it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I think that's okay. So if a block ends up here, so like say this guy is off over here. In fact, I'll just do it to see what initially it does. All right, I'll try enacting this case to see how stupid it looks as it's currently implemented. So I will push the block west. It will end up, I think, sticking on the steps. Yep. All right. And then what I could do to resolve it in a way that's consistent with the rules of my universe is, first it would go whoop over here, and then that same step it would slide to the bottom. Just go bloop, all the way down to the bottom. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. Now, if it's on the steps like this, I think it'll block me from going up. Yep. But then I've also got some rules where stairs are exactly the same thing as heights that are just up one. So if I also have not proper stairs, but this thing that's like stairs. So this is supposed to be, game logic wise, the same thing as stairs. And maybe that's too hobgoblin-y of me. That, an old saying that consistency is the hobgoblin of lesser minds or something like that. But I did kind of like it. So it was like anything that is in the internal height map, just one level of height difference, you can go up. So it makes me think, if I have this guy end up here, just looking at it, it shouldn't go down the steps. It seems like to anybody that's playing it, it feels like it should just stay there. But if I were to say that here it's different and it goes down the steps, then it does mean that I've got to write some code someplace that says, okay, you're actually on some steps. And I was benefiting in different places by not having to write that code. Because right now this is just a height map, and the height map says this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and by the same rules that let me go up one height here, I can also go up these steps. So I have to write more special casing. I don't know. I could cheat though. I could cheat. I could say with level design that I never let these blocks get onto the steps. That would be like the laziest way to solve it. That would be the laziest way. Just gonna look at it visually again. This other here's like the second laziest way to do it, is what I was showing before. It's like a negative, say 35, and I'll make it look like a little less tippy. Maybe like 15, sort of like has some chance of staying there. Like maybe it might. Oh, shut up. Like maybe it might realistically just stick there. And then you'd be grumpy about it as the player. You'd be like, what is it doing? Why doesn't it fall down? And in some place there'd be a wiki page that says no, it just sticks there. Get used to it. From a gameplay perspective, it's not bad to have like these things become like obstacles on the steps, and then you're just sort of like avoiding throwing them up on the steps, because if that does happen, then you have to sort of get at it from the top. Because I can let me check that. So if I put this back, let me see what my current behavior is for coming down from above. There's the universal stairs thing I was talking about. Okay, so what do I think happens? I think I walk on top of it. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So it effectively becomes like a one-way square. If it lands on steps like that, then it's a one-way square, and I can't get it off. go that way, I can't go that way. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I'm thinking about my options. I gotta start writing them down. Whenever I've got a number of different options, I start writing them down. Lazy way. Number 1, lazy way. Level design to avoid blocks on stairs. Number 2, blocks get stuck on stairs. Get stuck on stairs. Number 3, the Norman way. Blocks slide down the stairs. Most intuitive. Most work. Okay, so any other ways to handle this? Oh yeah, there's one other way. It's like kind of a hybrid. Blocks, let's say, blocks slide down the stairs, but not the one high, for lack of a better word, course steps. Number 4. Also, the one high course steps. Sliding down course steps. Very unintuitive. They just don't look like they should slide down those. Moderate amount of work. More memory use. That's a hard one to explain, but basically I have a really efficient way of storing heights in memory. Heights take up very little space, but whenever I add something besides a piece into one of the squares, it creates this other structure which is appropriate to use for storing all kinds of things, but that's much more. So if I have like each one of these steps not just be represented by a height, but also use like this whole piece layer thing, that means if I have really lengthy steps that go through a whole bunch of layers or heights, then it creates like one of those expensive structures for each and every layer that it goes through. That's why I'm pausing at the idea of having this just slide down the steps, even though it's it's clearly like the nicest way to do it right now to me. Oh crap. Okay. So half hour. What can I do with the half hour I've got before I gotta order some food and retire from programming? I feel like I'm not going to be able to make a decision on these blocks right now. It feels like something I got to mull over. But what could I do? I could have a little bit of fun, and I could kind of move ahead to the a little bit of 3D modeling. and make the block generator, which is kind of neat. So there's a thing that actually creates these blocks, and I need to make that. So let's make a shape. Like I think a pipe. Pipe, that might be a good thing. Cone. So I want like a bottom part that'll be kind of like a thing that it lands on. So icosahedron. No, that's not what I want. Cylinder. That's it. That's what I want. Cylinder. Okay. Build that. And let's call this block gen pad. It's the place where a block will appear after it's generated. And I won't spend a lot of time making it fancy because I feel like this is going to be a placeholder, but I can make it a little bit fancy, just a little bit. Let's make a new one. Put it on top. Pipe, do radius 0.5, do number of sides 14, height 0.05, make it smaller than that, I guess. No, it needs to be kind of coarse. Alright, alright, so that there. Let's set my snapping so it lets me be a little more precise. I'll just turn off the snapping for a little bit. Okay. So here. Ah, 3D modeling's fun. Okay. don't know why you lost your texture. Okay. Okay, you're at 12.3. Let's also put you at 12.3. Oh, you've got some different origin point. Okay. Okay, this part I'm not that great at. Okay. Then let's make sure this is in the right place. So if I go, okay, let's call this offset. Basically, I put this mesh that I'm modeling into another game object, and that lets me kind of fix up its offsetting. So I want it to be such that when I move this object to whole number values and integer values for x, y, z, that this will be centered in the middle. I can do that with this offset thing. So turn off the snapping and just get this put where it should be. And I'm being pretty imprecise with it. I forget the commands to snap to a surface that it collides with. I forget offhand. But I don't know. This might be fine. I don't know. I have to get it exactly, to be honest. This would be nice to not have a gap underneath of it like that. Let's go down a little bit. Okay. Okay, that's pretty close. Just going to check the coordinates of this other object. This is 12, 1, negative 22, and I want this one to be 12, 1, negative 23. Is that right? Oops. Yeah, that's basically right. So I'm hoping it's 12, 1, negative 23. Is it? No, I'm off by 1. So if I just move the offset, so it is here, other way. Yeah, that's pretty close to 5. It's 5 in. Okay, so if I go negative 0.5, that puts it there. Oh, that's approaching a round number. So I'll just switch that. Okay, cool. There. Okay, then I put block gem pad. Snapping back on. Okay, so that's it. 12, 1, negative 23, negative 22. Okay, all good. Let's give it some kind of texture that's a little bit better than this. Try that. Brushed metal. Cartoon wall. Let's see. I don't know. That doesn't look great, but it'll make it more distinct. There, that's even better. Okay, cool. So that would be my pad for it to drop onto. Okay, so let's put that in the prefabs. Make a new folder for blocks. Okay, blockchain pad becomes a prefab, which is a reusable object. And okay, so then I could have a top part to it. I just don't know if it's gonna matter. Like, so the top part would be, in theory, like some piece of machinery or a little container that opens up and a block comes out of it. So the rules are supposed to be that if you walk onto the pad, okay. The rules are that if the room is not at its maximum number of blocks already, and nothing is blocking the pad, that a block will appear on it. I had this idea that it would drop from above, and that might look cool. It could also add extra puzzles, like maybe the way from the top part to the bottom is obstructed, so it won't work. But I don't know if that's worth the effort. Could just make the blocks just kind of materialize like it's a teleporter, or they could pop up from a hole in the floor and just sort of be there. That might be just as good and less work. Alright, so let's just say, let's just call this block gen. And give it a different color. Different types of block generators. Could, yeah. So So I'm sort of in a mode where I'm trying to find the balance between adding things, between adding too many things and not adding enough. So, Norman, do you ever play a game called Portal? Portal is my example of how to do it right. Yeah, as far as like adding elements, like I don't think they have more in either of the games. Like maybe they had somewhere between 10 and 20 elements, something like that. But it just had this nice feel, like they got exactly the stuff they needed to make some good puzzles, and they didn't keep adding, but it didn't feel starved either. That's the kind of feel that I'd like to have. So I guess that would be the kind of idea. So if this section underneath was clear, and we weren't already at the max room count for blocks, then whoop, the block drops down. Just go bum 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 bum. But kind of like immediate, like I don't know. I think I just like the idea of having a thing up above and then the block drops down from it. Just feels like there's something enjoyable about that. And I know that I can do things like I can block this path. I've got this other element called an axle, which is it's like this thing that kind of swivels around, and it could be put in such a way that it blocks the path, and you have to turn it to get it out of the way. This thing could be like way, way, way up. It could be way, way up. And there could be like a whole level you have to traverse and like clear stuff out of the way so that the block will fall all the way down. That sounds fun to me. That might be worth it. Instead of just having like kind of an instant materialization here with no other rules. The other thing that could be good if I do that is to have like some kind of visual indicator of the path all the way down. So I got this other thing that's similar to that, the exit. So I take the exit and put this down. It's got this translucent cylinder that goes all the way up to the sky. Yeah, I was kind of happy when it came together. Like, it didn't take me too long to make, and like it looked legit. It's got a nice little particle effect in it too, which you can't see unless I hit play. But so I could have something like a little yellow tube or cylinder going all the way up like that, or going up to here. Maybe a laser? A laser would be good. So a laser would be like, you can see what blocks it. So I kind of like that. Yeah, well, okay, let me prototype that. Cylinder, make it. Maybe I should think of it not so much as a laser, since lasers are really thin, but more like a beam. Alright, just for now, I'll give it the same material as I did for the exit cylinder thing. Material editor. Give it outer wall light. I don't have it. Okay. So if I add material. Red glass. That's the one. And apply that. Okay, cool. And that's the kind of thing. That's probably, I don't know. Well, visually it might not be quite right yet, but what I want, like a little beam coming down, and then okay, so then it would look like that. And then you'd do something like you'd be pushing a block around, you'd destroy that block you were messing with. And since the red beam has made it all the way down, since the red beam made it all the way down, that would release the block. Block goes vroom, and it's just there in one step though. So I don't know if it'll look that good, to be honest, because again, there's no slow animation in this. So it would just be the block would be there, and there would be like a trail that followed behind it. It would be a better trail than what I've got now. It'd be more prominent than that. It would just kind of be there immediately. It's the downside of like all this sort of instant updating stuff I've got is there's not much room to show things with animation. Oh no, the overall effect might be actually confusing. Much as I like the mechanics of this thing. Yeah, okay. I think I like this thing, but I feel like it's not going to add that much for all the effort that I'm going to be putting into it. So I'll do something else where the blocks will come up from underneath. Just gotta decide. And that's, I think, what I'll decide. And there'll be some nice animation, like there could be two doors that open up and then it'll pop up out of a little hole. But it'll just be right around here. Okay. So then, okay, this is a good place to hang it up, I think. Yeah. So, Norman, I'm shutting this down. Thanks for keeping me company. And yeah, probably chat with you tomorrow. Have a good night, sir. Mr. Legend of Belza.